of you since you're later for you. Hello, everybody. For anybody that joins, what are you reading? And there will be more of us joining here in a little bit, but everybody's kind of in different parts of the U.S., so we kind of hop on when we can. But so, Kristen, you're going to start, or no, because you said you'd have to get the ebook, right?
Yeah, I'm going to, and I also want to have it like fresh in my mind for the live show, so I'm going to start it on Monday.
Ah.
Do you want to hear something really dumb?
Yeah.
I was like, why are we calling her by her last name? And like, wait a second. Marilee's not her first name.
No. It could be a first name.
It could be.
That would be kind of cute. There was a girl I knew whose last name was Love. I'm like, what a nice little last name.
That is nice.
Hello, Cool Gamer. Hello, Purple Dragonfly. Everybody's names are so fun. Hello, Wes.
Purple Dragonfly, Wes.
So I started the book. I've only read through part 1, so really the introduction. I will say it jumps between a lot of perspectives, which hasn't been a big deal to me because some of them we're familiar with from reading Shades, and then a couple of them are new, but it's exciting new. But I have seen people that didn't read the original trilogy pick this up and be like, oh, it's way too much is going on. And I'm a little like, I mean, I would start with the trilogy. I know Vicky Schwab had a post saying that she hopes that someday some people can go into this one and it be their introduction, and then they'll see the original trilogy as a prequel, or they can start there and then see this as a sequel. But I'm like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's a sequel.
It's definitely. I've read a quarter of it so far. I could not imagine going into this and not have read the first trilogy because it wouldn't make sense. I just can't see in my brain where it would make any kind of sense.
I don't know if it too, like, wouldn't it be kind of repetitive to have to reintroduce the worlds when most readers are already familiar with it from the first 3 books?
Yeah, because it kind of throws you right in. Like, it's not like this is any world building. It's like, you know this already.
Yeah.
It's not quite as strong of this example, but it'd be kind of like starting with Mistborn Era 2. I don't know if you can hear Luna right now. She's like scratching on the carpet where she's like rolling around and making silly noises. Hi, Tori.
Hi, Tori.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Your hair looks so cool.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh.
How was your concert you went to?
Oh my God, it was incredible.
Yeah.
So I caught my mom and I. We got Beyonce's last world tour, last show for the world tour, and she just put on an unreal performance. So yeah, we had a blast.
That's awesome.
It looked so fun. I was watching like your stories. I'm like,
It was so much fun, and I was looking forward to the mute challenge. We completely messed it up, but Beyonce said we killed it, so we killed it. I'm just she said so.
If she said so, it's fine.
Exactly.
So it must be true. But yeah, so back home now, and you guys, I'm a hot mess. I cannot find my Threads of Power book. Like, I brought it on the trip, and I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna read Threads of Power for the stream, and now I'm like, wait, where's my book? So I have to pause and get off camera and go find it.
Okay, go find it.
It's there somewhere. I have faith in it.
It's wild. And I was filming earlier, and like I just have books everywhere. I'm just like, it's in here somewhere. So
I was a little nervous. Hello, that I wouldn't have a voice for this live show because I had recorded like 11 videos today.
Oh,
by like 5, I was feeling, I'm like, people are gonna think I'm really sad or I'm sick because I just sound strained, and then it came back, so I'm all right. But
so many, more power to you.
Yeah,
like I usually do like 5 or 6 in a day, and I'm like done. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Don't.
Yeah,
it's amazing that you have the energy for this after all that.
Pretty much my whole day. So
right.
Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm gonna record a bunch today, and I get so tongue-tied and I can't get a coherent thought out, and it's hot. That's the other thing too, because I have to turn the air conditioning off when I record because it's so loud and the unit's right next to this room. And in the summer, it gets like immediately shoots up to being really hot in the house, and with the lights and stuff, I'm like, this sucks, and I just get another reason I'm angry in the summer. But it's so nice now. Like this morning, I didn't even have the air on, and it was, like 71 in the house. And I'm like, oh, it's so nice. And then eventually it started to get hot. So, but that was when I was hot-ish for us. Yeah. Your animals are all over the place. Ow.
Just got attacked. It's fine.
Then a bear's moved slightly closer. She's just down there.
Yeah, I do the same though. I have to turn off like fans when I film, and it gets so hot under the lights, and it's just hot here in general, but it's like hot and humid.
That's worse.
Oh, yeah, that's rough.
Where are you at?
Like
Florida.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Not a good time. Not a good time for my hair.
It's a lot. Like I hate when I'm editing back and I just look so sweaty. I'm like, like
I'm spacing. Where are you at again?
I'm in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Like it's like 80 degrees. So we're not quite in the fall vibe.
Wow.
So
I was mad because it's still this week is getting into the triple digits. I'm like, why? It's October. Stop it.
Wow. We've been lucky. We finally had some nice fall weather in New York.
Oh, so nice.
Are the trees turning?
Not yet. That'll be a little later. We had so much rain. We had Ophelia come and like drown New York over the past week. But it was really like cool and really nice weather. And now it's a little bit warmer, but I think it's supposed to be cooler again tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
That's good. I do always feel bad when Arizona gets kind of rainy and nice because I'm like, oh, that means like a hurricane probably hit somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not just like rain. I mean, sometimes we get monsoons, which are not the same. They're not the same. They're just like dust. Have you seen? Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up for anybody that hasn't seen these. Whoops, that's not how it's spelled. The dust storms we get in Arizona.
No.
I'm gonna share.
I have family there that has talked about it, and I'm like, I can't even imagine what that would be like.
Yeah, you have to pull over when they're like this bad. Let me see.
You picked the wrong one.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what they're like. Like it looks like the apocalypse.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
So they're not always like that. I mean, some of them are just like it's dusty and windy, but these ones are not great. So
that's wild.
But you have to like, cover your eyes and stuff.
We just don't go outside.
No.
I don't think we've gotten a really bad one for a couple years though.
Do you get like warning when they're coming?
We get warnings. Usually like
it'll be like dust storm.
Yeah,
warning.
like that service, the weather service
okay.
alert buzzing. It'll do that and it'll tell you like a dust storm warning. It is. That's what they are. That's what they're called. I like to say habab.
Who came up with that name?
It's really funny.
Yeah, Holly, I'm with you. It's a mess. It's like 70 tomorrow, which is nice, but I'm like wondering where's like the 50-degree weather.
Oh no, send it my way. Send the 70s down here too. That would be fine.
Oh my gosh, that's been pretty bad.
There's Luna down there.
Aww.
You're a little butt. Since it was a hug for Luna. We'll give her lots later. I was hanging out with my mom this last weekend, and Luna's kind of a solo dog, so we can't really have her around my mom's dog. But my mom's dog is such a dog. I don't know if that makes sense, but Luna's kind of cat-like, where she's very fine, just keeping to herself. She's kind of mellow, a little temperamental. And my mom's dog is just like derpy and sweet and
just wants to play ball.
He just wants to play. And when he starts whipping toys around, he's just hitting himself constantly. Like just such a goofy boy, but he's really sweet and he's a lab, but he has like the shortest front legs. There's a obvious difference in length between his front legs and his back legs. He's very cute. I'm sure I have a picture of him somewhere. But I do feel kind of bad because he is a little naughty. Like he always tries to steal stuff and then chews it and then sometimes swallows it. So not while we were out, but over. There was one time that he was at doggy daycare while my mom was at work, and then I don't remember if I told this story already, but he swallowed one of their like hand cloths to clean.
Oh my God.
And he had to go to the emergency vet. And luckily it wasn't deep enough that they needed surgery. He was able to throw it up. But when he was really tired, he was sleeping under the table while we did a puzzle.
Oh my God.
He's
really cute.
So cute. His name is Dutton because my mom likes that show Yellowstone, which I've never watched.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
So he's cute. And so anytime I see like a Dutton Ranch shirt at the store, I try to get it for my mom.
Aww.
And she got a sign that says Dutton Ranch for her backyard.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
That's really cute.
Just the animals going wild tonight.
Oh yeah, they're letting loose. I got one on the floor and one across right now.
I'm still trying. I'm still working on my husband
like
on another one.
Plush that fell on the floor. That's my animal.
There you go. I've been sending my husband all the like sad pictures of the dogs in our local shelter.
Oh,
Because I had agreed, it's almost December in my head, and I had agreed to a full year before I start really pushing, like, hey, we need to get another dog. Because the cat just kind of showed up and never left. So I'm like, okay, it's almost at my year. So I'm just like sending him random, like, look at this dog. Our shelters are over full. Like,
Oh,
just really lay on the guilt. Jeez.
yeah, it doesn't work on him though, because he's like, no, stop.
My thing that I want to do is when I'm done with my second book, I'm like, okay, I feel like once that comes around, I'll feel as though I have all the time in the world. And then that's when we can get another puppy. And the Luna's Akitas are known for being pretty solitary dogs. So if we get another dog, it probably has to be a puppy because she has to be, she can't feel threatened. You know what I mean? Certain breeds are just very territorial and stuff. So it's not like some dogs, you can get a dog from wherever and like they'll be best friends immediately. Luna is not like that. I think I've told the story about the dog that dug under our fence and got into our backyard. And it woke me up because Luna was outside and she like pinned it down and then it was like screeching. She didn't bite it. I was kind of shocked that she didn't, but she like, pinned it because it was a Chihuahua. I'm like, what in what world?
Why?
Her on? She weighs like 100-something pounds, but so she had it pinned, and then the other two dogs had followed, and they were just like running away. But this one, and I like came outside, and I'm like, oh my, like it's such a bizarre thing to wake up to. So I had to get the broom, like trying to get her away.
Oh, no.
And then she started to come to me and back away from the dog, and then it got up and started like growling, coming after her. So she immediately, and when she gets territorial and like defensive, her fur on her back rises up and her shoulders, I swear they grow. She turns into a Hulk. So she immediately pinned it back down and it was like urinating on her and stuff. But I'm just like, how dumb are you? Just run back under your fence.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, so
I
was gonna say, in her defense, Chihuahuas are crazy, and like the Chihuahua probably came at Luna first.
I'm sure.
Probably.
And they came to our yard too, so I feel like that was because it's a fenced-off yard. It's not like it, casually stepped barely into our front yard or something. It was our backyard. So it's for a dog that, basically acts like she's gonna murder delivery men. I feel like she was doing her job, But
Right?
You should say what happened when you went to our neighbors to ask if it was their dogs.
Oh yeah, they were just like, no.
They
I
said
was
no.
They came from there.
So did they go like into their yard from somebody else's yard? I wonder.
Turned out it was their dog.
It was their dog.
Was there? They just lied.
My husband came by later and was like, "Oh yeah, those are ours." Because I was calling like animal, because I was like, I don't know what to do with these dogs because we can't just keep these Chihuahuas. But he was like, "Oh no, those are ours," and I was like, "Your wife told me like an hour ago." And then she's like, "Oh no, not ours." Like,
maybe she was like, "This is my opportunity to get rid of
Get
them."
rid of them? She's trying to get rid of her husband's dogs. Why?
She's probably like, I hate these dogs. I hope that big dog kills them. Is what it seemed like.
My dog was only a one dog. Like she was good with my parents' dog, but that was it. Like no other dog other than my dad's dog. She was just didn't like him.
So Luna, we used to take her around my mom's old dog Leo, which for anybody that watched way back my channel back in the day, he was like this big sweet bull mastiff, and they're big mellow sweethearts, so he didn't care. But he also just like didn't know what to do with her. And she was a puppy, and she was already kind of like, I own everything as a puppy. So he just seemed like trying to stay away. But she liked him well enough, and they never got into it or anything. But there were so many bad instances of like we were walking her when she was pretty little, and somebody's dog wouldn't be on its leash and it would just charge her. And from the time we brought her home, and I'm like, what is with all these dogs just running around? And then we had that incident. We tried taking her to a dog park and she was really good, but this husky would not stop following her and like growling at her. And the owner was just like cursing at it. I'm like, yeah, the cursing's not going to make the dog stop.
Yeah.
Right.
Put it on a leash. What are you doing? So I just feel like she's had a lot of bad interactions.
Well, then
too.
COVID happened and we couldn't take her to the dog park.
Yeah.
During kind of an important, I feel like, period of her life. She was like, dogs are fine, I guess. And then for like 2 years, like, I've never seen another dog.
Until the one yard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your neighbors used to have white peacocks and they would roam in my yard a lot. There was a flock of turkeys that would fly in the yard and the peacocks would mingle with them. It was neat to see. That's so nice.
That's so fun.
I thought it would turn bad after the Chihuahua story.
Right?
It was neat.
Oh, we have been there's this park we found recently and we were walking through it. And it was so cute because there's kind of elderly people in that area and they bring their dogs and their dogs are old too. Like clearly they have a lot of white and they're like really slow and they're all just hanging out with each other, like the elderly people and the old dogs. They're like, oh, it's so sweet and cute. Happy.
Here's my dog. This is Ellie.
Not to be outdone.
Yeah, not to be outdone. I adopted her like back in mid-July. And so I had to put her in boarding for the Beyonce concert this weekend. I cried halfway to Kansas City. I was like, what if she thinks I gave her back? I was a mess. I was trying to have a good time. I was like, I need a cocktail. I need to It's just too much.
Oh,
right?
That is sad. I think
sad.
we kind of, Luna was sort of I don't want to say an impulse buy because that's poorly worded, but when I saw her, I was like, oh my gosh, like we have to have that dog, you know. And she just had this like the sassiest look on her face. I'll have to see, not right now, but at some point to share and send you all this like, there's this picture of her laying down with her head looking back and she just looks like such a princess.
Yeah.
But anyway, we had already booked a trip to Ireland and we were going to be gone for about 2 weeks. And we're like, what do we do with the dog? And luckily Sean's aunt and uncle watched her and they fed her a lot of peanuts, right?
Yeah.
And they let her on the couches constantly. And I'm like, because I kept telling Sean, let's just let her on the couch. It'll be cute. And he was like, no. And then as soon as he saw her on the couch, he was like, no. Yeah. Now she's always on the couch.
Right. My dog always slept in bed until I met my husband. And like when he moved in with me, because I had the dog first. And he was like, I can't deal with this like 90-pound dog sleeping in this queen size bed. I can't. So she
doesn't sleep in our bed. I will say that. She's pretty enormous too. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, look at her on the couch.
Oh,
so cute.
That is cute.
She's so beautiful.
She is. She's like such a mix of every kind of Arctic animal. Sometimes she's a polar bear. Sometimes she's an Arctic fox. Sometimes she's a seal when she like puts her legs in. Sometimes she's a reindeer when she's laying down and the way her legs go. Anyway, it's not surprising that I have talked about both Arizona's heat and my dog for most.
I know it's like bingo night. And it's like where free square. I think Luna's your free square.
Luna's like the guaranteed.
Yeah.
She's gonna come up. Yeah. Do you find that you all have something every sprint or any kind of live show that gets brought up besides books?
right.
Yeah, I was like reading.
Wow.
Pets and kids.
Yeah.
Pets and kids.
Your kids' activities.
Yeah, it's always there. I'm always at something though.
Mhm.
Our new thing is volleyball because Sean's a very good volleyball player, and I sometimes will play with him. So we've been now that the weather's cooling, especially at night, it's been getting better. So we try to like go to different parks and play.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's fun. That's his newest thing that he's talking about a lot.
I talk about it too much, probably.
He talks about it most every day.
Like, by the way, do you know volleyball's fun?
He's been trying to work on his height when he jumps and stuff like that. So he's recording when he's like such a frugal 30-year-old because 31 now.
Oh.
But he because he'll like just like go jump off of the benches at the park and stuff. But he'll record it so that he can see his height, and then he'll send me pictures like, look at how much air I got this morning. That's what you did
should
today.
watch Haikyuu.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it yet.
It's
I
the
haven't watched
volleyball
it.
anime.
Yeah.
yes.
It's like
It's really good.
So I didn't really know anything about it, but I've been going to this. See, I'm talking about volleyball. I've been going to this open gym on Fridays, and there's a lot of high schoolers, and a few of them had like T-shirts and stuff with that. I was like, huh, I don't know what this is, but now they all watch it, man. So now I have to watch it.
My niece
Volleyball
has been
is
trying to get me to watch that forever.
It's very entertaining. The first season is like so good. And then I kind of stopped in the second season because it is in typical anime form. Like some of it can be extremely drawn out. So like I think the second season is like one game. Like the whole season
That's
is like
amazing.
one game. The first season was like a lot more going on.
So is he a middle? Is he a front like, or is he? Because he's undersized, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like he's like short. Yeah. Okay.
I think so. I can't remember because I watched it a while ago, but I liked the taller guy with black hair. Can't remember his name now either.
My inspiration.
But it was a lot of fun. It definitely like made me cry too, which I was not expecting.
Sean was telling me that I guess in Japan when that started to come out. Here you go, Sean. That the interest in volleyball, like they had a graph and it just immediately started to go way up, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, like
That's
the
awesome.
number of like volleyball clubs, like there's like a bloop, like 2016 or whenever the manga started coming out.
Kristen, since you mentioned that it gets really drawn out, for anybody that hasn't seen Spy Family, there's an episode, a dodgeball game episode, and I feel like it's just kind of making fun of the sport anime and even just fighting.
Absolutely.
In anime, how over the top and dramatic it is, and that episode's so funny.
Mhm.
I will say Sean's been getting into volleyball. My mom's been super into pickleball, so
I like that too. Andrew and I have been playing that.
We've never played, but we're trying to set something up eventually to play with my mom, because the hard part is that we live like 45 minutes away. So we're trying to find parks and stuff that are between us because there's not a lot of indoor.
Mhm.
And if there is, it's super expensive because it's all the rage right now.
Mm.
The story starts when he's 16, so he hasn't reached his fully grown height. Yeah, we saw some of the volumes of the library, but they didn't have the first ones. But it's definitely going to be added to the list.
I think sadly I was fully grown at 16, and I was like, please grow more.
I was about fully grown when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
You were?
Pretty much, yeah. And I'm looking at my daughter because she's like 4'11". I'm only 5'2" on a good day in shoes. And she's almost as tall as me. And I'm like, you're either gonna like just continue shooting up or you're gonna stop soon.
Yeah,
or you're just done.
My dad was 6'1" in middle school and then stopped growing. And my mom was the height she is, like 5'3", when she was about, I don't know, like the same age as that. And everyone thought I was going to be tall because I was my height, which is about 5'3.5" when I was 10. And then everybody started to get taller than me. And I just stopped growing.
They thought I was going to be tall. So my mom's 6 foot tall.
Wow.
Oh.
So
Jade, who is she's not in the chat today, but she's also she was a booktuber. She's like 4'11".
oh yeah, I didn't realize she was that tall. I guess we only really see people from like here up, so it's like
That's true.
He's like 5'11", and I'm 5'3", like I said, and a half ish. So I feel like when we're sitting, you can't tell, but when it's not this camera, because this camera captures a lot more, but if we're just trying to record a regular video, it can be kind of tough because the height difference.
I think I've had Jeff in like one video like a long time ago. He's like 6'2". So like the height difference it's not fun when you're trying to be like, okay, are you in frame?
Yeah.
I'm curious how tall you guys think I am, since I'm also just sitting down.
5'7".
Yes, actually. That's exactly right.
Nice. So how tall is your husband?
He's 6'3".
Okay, I was gonna say, because I might have guessed a little more like 5'4", 5'5", because he looks quite a bit taller than you.
Mm-hmm.
But that makes sense.
I wish I was 6'.
Tori, how tall are you?
5'6". I've been 5'6" since 8th grade.
Similar situation. So Kristen, you might be able to answer this better than we could. Is pickleball just tennis/badminton with a wiffle ball?
Smaller court.
It's pretty similar. Yeah, the court is smaller, and there are some rules that are a little bit different. But it's pretty similar.
You can't be in the kitchen.
You can't be in the kitchen.
I always thought it looked like Foursquare.
You can actually, like at our park, the one that we go to, you actually play it on a tennis court, but then they have like other lines that are drawn to make it smaller for the pickleball court.
I think that's what a lot of parks need to start doing, just so that you can have both.
Yeah.
Available. When I saw it was a wiffle ball, though, I'm like, this is the ball?
Yeah.
Surprised me because it's just such a like.
They're the paddle. I mean, I guess they call them paddles, not rackets. They're different than like tennis rackets.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also very tricky if it's windy.
Oh.
Yeah, because that makes sense. Wiffle ball.
No ball can be sillier than a. They're called bird. What are they called?
Birdie.
Oh, God. Those are like the goofiest. Because my mom was like, badminton looks kind of fun. I'm like, I don't know, because we had like a unit of badminton in PE in high school, and it's just the least satisfying thing to really. I'm sure people who are good are probably like, you just don't know what you're talking about. But it feels like you put so much energy into it, and it's just like, whew. It's like when you try to toss a piece of plastic or whatever in not like a plastic bottle, but like a wrapper, you try to throw it in the trash and it just like floats.
Wow.
I don't know. I feel like watching badminton in like the Olympics, those guys are hitting that.
Yeah.
Pretty hard. I don't know.
It just doesn't. It just feels like there's no reward because it doesn't feel like it goes very far. I think that would make me feel really weak and pathetic. But anyway, shall we start reading? I have planned just 25-minute sprints because last time we did a number of quick 25 sprints, and the break between will be much shorter than this initial chat because this is quite a while. Did you find your book, Tori?
I did.
Yay!
I was like recounting my steps since I've been back home. I'm like really, putting in extra mental work. Like, wait, where did I go? So I found it.
Yay! Let me see. We had a badminton unit in grade 8, and you were so bad at it. But then I went to China for 3 weeks, and when I came back, I was a best player.
Love it. That's awesome.
Love it.
That's awesome. Okay.
I'm actually only going to be here for half an hour, so I'm not even going to make it to reading. But I'm glad we got to chat the whole time. That was fun.
I'm glad you got to chat, though. It was fun. I'm sorry your work day was no fun. But hopefully you get plenty of rest tonight.
Yes.
I hope so. I'll need it for the rest of the week.
Oh, good luck.
Thank you for chatting with us, though.
Bye. Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
You can agree. You help me. I'm glad it's not just me.
No. I'll stick to swimming.
Anyway, now that it's about a half hour in, we'll go ahead and start our sprints. Let me get the screen up. There we go. Okay, we'll see everybody in 25 minutes. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How was everybody's reading?
I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm a little. I just made it to a little bit past chapter 1, so
It's very fresh for you.
yeah. Yes, very.
So Jesse, what page are you on?
I
I guess you have the audiobook. Huh?
I'm on the audiobook, but it says 26%.
Oh wow.
And there's not like confused like as to the story, but like there's like one thing that I'm like, wait, what? What happened? What happened? I need details on something.
I am confused at the voices they're giving these characters. Because I feel like I think these narrators are married, and I'm like, do they like ask each other, hey,
Oh
what accent are you gonna give this character?
Right?
that's horrible.
Isn't there 3 on this one?
Yeah, there's 3. I like the new narrator a lot. I mean, the other 2 are Michael Kramer and Kate Redding.
Yeah.
And they're very good. It's funny because when it's back and forth between them, and you're getting the same characters but with different voices.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the characters' names in case
I know.
Continuation. I don't want to spoil anything for people. But one character in particular, a lady that Michael Kramer is doing the voice of, she's kind of like one of the main ones. I'm like, what is this voice for her? Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
So Jesse, you just want explanation for stuff?
Yeah, there's one thing in particular.
Okay.
And I think once you get to it, you'll be like, wait, what?
I'm 17% in.
You're close. It happened like right at like 25%. It's like,
okay.
Explain this, please.
Okay. I'm a little scared. Is it?
It's not a
like,
bad thing. It's just like
intrigue
there's
thing.
Something here. Like, and
Okay.
it's probably like super small, but it's just one of those like,
Okay. I'm intrigued now.
When you get to 25%, I'll message you and be like, okay, it was like, what is this?
Right.
Like, you'll pick up on it.
Okay. So, I've seen like Angela from Literature Science Alliance is always kind of like this about Michael Kramer. And I was always like, oh, I think he's a very good narrator. I think it's just when you've heard his voice for a lot of books, and especially if you're reading the book he's narrated kind of in a row, that you're like, oh, this is the same voice we gave this character over here. And it's kind of and I can only imagine how hard it is to come up with that many different. You can't just have different within Store My Archive. You have to have different for all these other series. So I imagine it's pretty tough. What is the snack? Is that a snack that I?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yummy. Your face like you got caught. Like, I didn't do it.
Well, like I hide them from my kids.
Jesse, oh my god.
I hide my snacks.
They
have their own snacks. They don't need to eat my snacks.
Yeah, they don't need yours.
And they will try to find them.
How old are they again?
10 and 7.
Oh, okay. That's like my niece's ages.
They will try. They will find all the snacks if I let them.
His accents confuse me. I'm very sensitive to how people say things, not focusing on the story. Oh.
Like,
wow. Can you vaguely hint at it? Or is that kind of impossible?
Somebody got married.
Oh,
I think I know what you're talking about. I think it's for lineage purposes.
I think so too, but it like threw me off. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, I think it's for like an heir.
I think so, but I was like, I don't like this.
I don't hear lineage.
Now I'm intrigued. I feel like I have a long way to go.
I like it.
The only reason I know what you're talking about already is because I saw a review that mentioned it. And I was kind of like, oh man, because I don't think it was marked spoilers.
Yeah, like I
Not
could like
deal.
it, depending on how it
plays out.
plays out.
I've heard it's actually quite cute.
Okay.
So
I was just like, wait, what?
You and for lineage purposes? Who knew?
yeah.
You never know.
Wow.
Make it work.
Sean, how is your reading?
Delightful.
Sean, do you want to share what you're reading?
I think I was reading this last time.
You were.
I'm still plowing through the Satanic verses.
Oh,
I've been reading Into the Wild also, so that's been...
Ooh.
For anybody that doesn't know, that's by the same author as Into Thin Air, right? So he's very into the into.
He likes Into, and also Kingdom of Heaven, which is not Into.
Yeah,
it's not Into.
Into the Kingdom of Heaven. he missed his chance. Which I think Into Thin Air is his more popular one, right? Anyway, do you want to share what Into the Wild is about?
I could.
It's about a kid that decides he's going to live in the wilderness, and then he dies.
he dies. It's very sad.
Have you read it?
I haven't read it. I'm familiar with the story and
The movie.
Yeah, and I was up in Alaska last year, and I got to see the bus.
Oh, you saw the bus?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool to see the bus, but it was like, it's tragic.
You're also like, ooh, I saw the bus.
Yeah, I was like, oh, well, there's the bus.
There's the bus.
How was your Alaska trip?
It was nice. It was a work trip, so I didn't get to, just kind of venture out on my own. But we went to Juneau and Anchorage and saw some islands, so it was really nice. The nature up there is just
so
wild.
Weird question about the bus. Have they made it easier to get to the bus now? Because in the book it makes it sound like it's a real pain. Like,
so when I saw it, it was at the University of Alaska. Like they have, I'm pretty sure it's the real bus. Like they have a model of it in one of their research centers at Alaska.
Okay.
On one of their campuses, and it's just like completely closed off. You can like walk by, and these massive windows are right there. So it was not as accessible as I thought it was going to be, just because it was kind of like closed off behind glass and everything. But
go ahead, Sean.
Oh, I was just gonna say the last part I was reading in Into the Wild was just the author John Krakauer being like, I rock climb too. Like it's like all about him being like, I get the need to go out into nature. And you're like, it seems like maybe
it's a little beyond,
maybe unnecessary to the book about the guy, but
it's such a sad story.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that you had it as required reading.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
This is such a random side note, but I'm always fascinated by what's required reading in certain states. Like sometimes I'll like get comments and like, I read this in high school, and I'm like, I didn't have to read that in high school. Like, what's going on?
Like we didn't read that.
So fascinated what was required reading. I had the most.
What are some that you had to read in high school?
Oh, it was terrible. Each year was like a different theme. So my freshman year was kind of general. It was like Shakespeare. Mm-hmm. And then my sophomore year was like, I think it was like world. So we did like British literature. We had some African literature thrown in there, Chinese literature. And then my junior year was American lit. So that was like Your Great Gatsby, To Kill a Mockingbird, Huckleberry. And I think I just blocked out senior year. I don't remember anything that happened in English class. But yeah, our reading was I was just so dry. Like, oh, yeah. I see people reading now. I'm like, oh, that's exciting.
Right? It was very dry for us too. I think I liked Secret Life of Bees. I remember we had to read that. And I was like, that was the best of the books we had to read, because everything else was like A Tale of Two Cities and The Scarlet Letter, which I did like A Tale of Two Cities.
Oh, I had to read The Scarlet Letter. It was god awful.
Oh god, I swear I spark nosed the whole thing. I was like, I can't do this.
Did anybody have to read Catch-22?
No.
See, I read it when I had to, and I was like, this book's boring. And I read it a couple of years ago. I'm like, this book's amazing. This is a great book.
We read. Oh, go ahead.
I think we read Catcher in the Rye. But I don't remember anything about it other than it being
teenager. That's what it is.
We read of Mice and Men, Great Gatsby, which you mentioned, Tori, Animal Farm. I forgot. I'm remembering it now, but my English teacher in high school read stuff to us sometimes in class.
Oh my
And
gosh.
sometimes there were words that I'm like, I don't know that you should, feel the need to say those words, because there's like, I think one of them was Mark Twain, and he was reading to us, and I'm like, this is a classroom filled with, like I grew up in a predominantly white area, and he was white, and it was so uncomfortable when he would read some of the words. I'm like, oh my gosh, you don't need to do this. It's okay.
Right, you don't have to read it to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We can stop here.
And I'm trying to remember some of the other stuff we read. We definitely read some of like the Greek classics.
Yeah.
Like
we did that, and then we watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I was very happy that they let us watch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou. So I think I was the only person in class that had ever seen it already.
Yeah.
We also, I don't know if I said this, we also read The Scarlet Letter. It's terrible. I'm pretty sure that same teacher also read it to us.
Oh God.
That was a rough book. The best two required readings I had to do in high school, I remember, was To Kill a Mockingbird. I love that book. And then we read In Time of the Butterflies by Julia Alvarez. That was amazing.
We read Frankenstein too. That one. I liked Frankenstein. I thought still.
Yeah, I've mentioned Frankenstein on my channel a couple of times because I read it for the first time last year. And I had mentioned like I never had to read Frankenstein in school. And I had so many comments. It's like, oh, I love this book in high school. I loved it in college. I'm like, well, that's nice. I wish I had to read it.
Yeah.
But would I have appreciated it back then? Probably not.
I don't know. I know my senior year, I think we read the Canterbury Tales, or we read part of it, and they made us read the prologue in Old English, and it was awful.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I think it was English honors, and I'm pretty sure our teacher was just over it by then because we're all doing our senior projects, and she just let us watch all 3 Lord of the Rings movies.
That's hilarious.
Honors English. She's just like, whatever, do what you want.
I gotta say, Shakespeare, John Grisham, and Thomas Hardy is such a weird mix.
That is a really random combination.
I love it though.
Let's see. I don't know. Oh, I mean, I've heard of
Brave New World.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I had to read Brave New World and Handmaid's Tale.
You have to read Handmaid's Tale.
That was like summer reading, so I had to read Handmaid's Tale and Brave New World coming, I think, into either junior year or senior year.
We read Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. That's good.
Oh yeah.
And Sound the Fury,
like
which was confusing.
I feel like we didn't read very many books in high school for our because some classes would have so much required reading, and I don't feel like ours did. I don't know.
Yeah, that's like a project that I've been thinking about doing for book 2, but it's just too time consuming, so I just let it go. I'm just like, whatever.
Well, there's just so many. Because, like, to your point, from school to school, there's so many different books that are considered required reading. Yeah. And it's like, I'm like, who does, I mean, I know you can actually look into who decides these things, but it's just interesting to see.
Right. I feel like it's getting better. At least I know for like the younger, because like my daughter's in 5th grade.
Yeah.
And like the books they're reading now that she's reading, I'm like, okay.
I've seen the Hunger Games on some required school list.
Oh, yeah.
What a time to be alive. Like,
right? I was reading that in high school.
That's been so nice.
13 Reasons Why? Wow.
Oh my God.
Even Copperhead just came out last year.
Right?
Won a Pulitzer.
Wow.
This is so interesting. I remember I took as an elective AP European History, and we had to read, I think it was just called Nicholas and Alexandra or something like that. And or whatever their names were, I should know. But I remember it was like pretty good, but nobody in the class read it because since that AP class was an elective, the kids in that class were such brats because our teacher's like, why aren't any of you doing the work? And they're like, well, our other classes are like required, and so we have to do the homework there. And he's like, then why are you taking this class?
Yeah,
the YAP, like
they were kind of bratty because they're just like, we have to do the homework in those classes. They were a little entitled.
I would have
say.
think
Yeah.
Middle
I think
school
so.
white categories are much better defined.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I remember I read really good books like in elementary school. I had to read Mouse and The Giver in elementary school. And I was like, yeah.
My daughter just read The Giver.
Yeah.
I have the graphic novel, so she read that read it that way.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
really cool because it starts out black and white, and then as you keep reading it, the graphic novel starts to
that's
get
awesome.
color.
That's cool.
That's pretty
She
cool.
just read his other book too for school. We Number the Stars, I think. It's like a girl in the Holocaust, and I was like,
remember that book. There's a scene in that book I still like remember from childhood. It's just.
I was like, that's kind of heavy.
I remember
for a
the cover.
10-year-old.
I remember the cover very vividly. I think I picked that. I don't know if it was required reading or if I just picked it up because I for sure just picked up The Giver. I don't think I was required to read it, but I remember reading it. And then that one, I remember the cover because it's got the little girl on it and then her necklace or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I think it's the star. So I remember that one. But yeah, I'm with you. I feel like the elementary school reading was more interesting.
Right? I was like, we read Holes.
Yes.
We read Holes.
I read Holes in elementary school. Then it gets to high school and it's like, well, this is boring.
Right? We didn't really read anything in elementary. I didn't really do anything fun in school until middle school because I went to a very weird school up until 7th grade.
Let me see. And then James and the Giant Peach is weird.
Yeah.
A Wrinkle in Time, also weird. It's a weird book.
That is
Okay, so my daughters read all of those in school.
I feel like, I don't know if I'm just misremembering. I don't feel like we had many required reading in elementary school either. Because we had AR, and I remember a bunch of us, like, we got to pick books from our little library and then read whatever and take our AR test. But I'm trying to remember, we absolutely had some reading.
I think they made us read Where the Red Fern Grows. I'm like, why would you make me read that?
I just read that. I didn't have required reading for that. But my sister had read it, and then I read it, and I was like, that's sad. Do you know what that book is about?
I'm not familiar with it.
Oh my gosh. Can we like talk about this? Should we put up a spoiler or is it safe?
Spoiler alert first?
Spoiler
Whether you're gonna cry.
Old book at this point.
Should we?
How old is that?
Should I don't know. I'm gonna talk about it. So if you want to like mute us for 30 seconds. It's about this boy with 2 dogs. And then one of the dogs dies, and I'm pretty sure the other one dies of sadness. It's like the saddest thing ever.
Depressing.
It's so sad.
And they're like, here, 7-year-old. Go.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Experience this.
I also read Old Yeller as a kid.
Oh.
Dark books.
My
Love
daughter's
dark
teacher
dogs.
said that they will not be reading any books with dogs because she will cry. She's like, I'm just deciding we're not reading any pet books.
Sean and I went and saw the movie The Creator. And there's early in the beginning of the movie, they like throw basically like a grenade and the dog picks it up and we're like, no, but then it drops it off, like it picks it up and lets it go before. And we're like, oh, okay, good. We were the only people in the theater, so we could have reactions.
But why scare us like
that?
Yeah, right. Why is the dog picking up a grenade?
There's a soldier that's like threatening the people by taking one of their dogs and holding a gun to it, and you're just like, no.
Potential dog violence.
Yeah.
Oh my
Not
God.
a fan.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I see that comment. Someone said, what was it? Wes Craven. I read Holes for the first time a couple years ago.
I was an adult. Yeah.
That's cool. I feel like there are some middle grade novels that you read as an adult and they just hit different when you read them for the first time as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are some middle grade novels that I read and I'm like, you know, I wish I actually would have read this when I was the intended demographic.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Redwall.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody always talks about how much they love it. And I'm like, oh, I never got into Redwall.
Yeah. I feel about Percy Jackson. I like Percy Jackson, but I read it for the first time, like, you know, a year ago or so. And the first 3 books. And I'm just like, you know, I can recognize this is really good, but it's not doing it for me. Like I thought, you know, like,
I feel the same. I tried it and I was like, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah. I also read it like first time as an adult.
Yeah. And it's good. I wish I had grown up with those characters like so many other people have. But I want to read what is it? The Golden Compass. I feel like that's going to work really well for me as an adult for some reason.
I haven't read it. I haven't.
Sean and I want to pick that up as adults because we both tried to read it when we were little or we were confused. So we talked about wanting to read it as adults. We should buddy read it.
Yeah, we should. I would love that. I have
right
on my shelf. I found them for a steal at half price. So
I got all mine at like the library sale. I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, they're quite. I mean, a lot of our used bookstores end up having them, but we're like, let's check them out from the library, and then if we really like them, we'll maybe get a nice edition.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, I didn't read anything fun in elementary school. Granted, I went to like a weird, super strict, like Southern Baptist, like fundamental
All right.
school. So like reading, we didn't do that. We read the Bible. Like
Nice.
it was a place. It was a time.
That don't age well.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's good. Golden Compass works super well for adults.
See, yeah.
Mhm.
That's the vibe I get, that I'm really gonna like it as an adult.
Jesse, I don't know if this is. I never know if this is interesting to people. If they're like, yeah. When I was in high school, a lot of because I grew up in an area that was a lot of Mormon kids, and they had seminary. There's a seminary building at our school, and so all of them made sure to take 0 hour or A hour, whatever your school called it, so that they would have an hour in their day that they could go basically to church in the middle of the school day. And I tell that to some people sometimes. It was so normal to me that they did that because that's all I knew. It was the only high school I ever went to. But I'll tell people that, and they're like, "What?"
Because that was my reaction. I was like, "What?"
Oh yeah.
What are you talking
I mean, a little different. Like we had like chapel every Wednesday and like revival week where we'd have like guest preachers come in and tell us how evil Disney
So
was.
was your school specifically a religious school though?
Oh,
Not
Yeah.
So mine wasn't. It was just a public school that had
that.
Wow, that's interesting.
That's wild that it was a public school that had that, because like mine was a church school.
Yeah, I went to Catholic school.
Yep.
Yeah, ours was
The
not.
nuns.
But
Terrible.
like
Yours was a public high school, like Gilbert High, right?
Yep, it was
Yeah.
public high school. And like a lot of the high schools in the area had that same thing. It wasn't weird to like any of us in a certain radius, you know?
Yeah,
And
right.
there was, Mormon churches like on every corner. The joke was that the steeple, if you were to stand on top of it, you could see the next one. That was the joke, because they were like everywhere. And now there's a temple in Gilbert. It's very pretty. There's a temple in Mesa. There's a temple in Tucson now. So whenever people talk about Utah, and I'm like, yeah, they're definitely more than us, but like us too. Arizona's got a lot. Got a lot.
I didn't realize Arizona had that many.
Yeah, I think I'm trying not to talk out of my butt. I'm pretty sure Mesa was like founded by Mormons, and then eventually they kind of worked their way into Gilbert. So, because Gilbert used to be entirely like farming. I think it was at one point the alfalfa capital of the world or something.
Wow.
So there's still a lot of like farmland and stuff like that in Gilbert, but
What a claim to fame.
I know. The alfalfa capital. I love it.
let's see. I never read those.
I didn't either, but I remember there was movies. Wasn't there movies? I vaguely remember there being movies.
I used to read those books in like 3rd grade. Those children had such a rough life.
Dude, them nuns are terrifying though.
So they're not supposed to have religious stuff in our schools, but because technically the seminary building was like next to campus, it wasn't
off campus.
Yeah, it was off campus. I'm like, oh, I mean, it's on campus. The fact that like you can work into their schedule to like, yeah, you're just gonna leave for an hour.
And I guess because it wasn't required, it was like a you can.
Yeah.
I think that's different. Like a you can, here's your option, as opposed to like
you can, they all did.
Do this.
They all did.
Well, they all did, but like the public school
like
wasn't telling them they had to.
Right. What were you gonna say, Sean?
I was gonna say I respect the reading Golden Compass right after Narnia. That's a bold move.
Oh yeah. That's pretty funny.
Wow.
Oh wow.
It's kind
World
of
views colliding.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It was also interesting when I would talk to like my cousins grew up in California, and when I would talk to them about like in the especially in AP classes, I was usually one of the only kids that wasn't Mormon, and my cousins were always like, of course there's their idea of a Mormon person was like the stereotype that's not accurate, you know. And I'm like, no, they're like normal. They're all really good at sports. Like that's they're nice and they're good at sports. And they're like they're sweet kids, you know. They were all like we had really good. We were actually
you know, bringing this back to volleyball. I just played a bunch of Mormon volleyball and they were all really good. So there you go.
Anyway, it was an interesting.
Want to be on their team.
It was very interesting to go from that to ASU, which is known as a party school. Different.
That is quite the jump.
It is.
My worldview just because I mean, I think probably Jesse, you and maybe even you, Tori, maybe like your view of things is so confined when you just have the same kind of view of the world surrounding you, and it's not until you get older and you start to meet other people with different perspectives that you're like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I went to college on the East Coast, very small town, upstate New York. And it's really different from Chicago. So,
Oh, I bet.
yeah.
Well, it's like when I left the private school that I was in, like I begged to leave for years. Like I almost got expelled a few times and I was like, yes. And then they kept me and I was like, why? Like I was I was close. So at the end of seventh grade, my mom was finally like, fine, we can leave. Because like her whole thing was she thought it was like, I'm going to be a better education because those schools down here are kind of crap. So finally convinced her, I'm like, no, like some of these things, like I just can't be here anymore.
Yeah.
And then going into a public school, it was just mind-blowing
so
to little 8th grade me. And then I moved up to North Carolina in 9th grade. And like the change, even though it's not that far, it was like, 8 hours, but like the difference in like Florida and up there, I was like,
what would you say was the biggest difference
from here to there? Just like school wise, it was very different. It was definitely, it's still like, I mean, it's North Carolina, it's still like Bible Belt, but I moved to Asheville instead of like, I'm in kind of like central Podunk, Florida. To like bigger city, like very like, I don't know if you've ever been to Asheville, but it's very like hippie vibes, crunchy. Like I loved it. I didn't want to leave, but it was just very different than what I was used to. And then just going to like a school that wasn't, 7 kids in the class.
Yeah. Oh,
that's like the graduating class of the school that I was at that would have been my year, I think was 10 kids. It seemed
holy moly.
Okay, that's
a very big
my graduating class, I think, had over 700.
Yeah, like yeah.
That's a pretty big difference. Yeah, there was like the high school was so crowded that when you would go from class to class, you were just like, smushed by other people in the hallways. There were so many kids. There was like, I think around between 3,500 and 4,000 kids at our school when I was there. And I think it kind of went down because they opened another high school in the area. But it was
a good idea.
Awful trying to get from class to class.
Yeah.
And it was a big campus, and we had 5 minutes to get from each class, and you're just like, please don't have a portable. Please don't have a portable. Yeah, and I broke my foot in high school, so that sucked.
Oh.
So I was just like,
You broke it dunking, right? That's why you can't dunk anymore.
Yeah.
So the joke.
No. You broke it dunking.
I was pivoting, and my foot just broke. So Sean's always insisting I need to make up a cooler story because who else would know? And he was like, you should say that you were dunking, and ever since you've not been able to dunk since you broke your foot. I'm like, no one would believe.
I believed it for about 5 seconds. Yeah, I was with it.
Sean's just so trustworthy.
Yeah. You just came down too hard. You didn't know how to land.
Yeah, that's it.
Just scored right over him.
Our graduating high school class set a record high of about 197. Yeah, we had.
It's probably closer to actually what my high school was.
When I was a senior, one of my classes I think had like 48 kids.
Oh wow!
And I think a couple of them had to get their schedules switched or something. So then we had 44. But for a couple weeks, there were always a few kids that had to sit on the floor.
Oh no! Oh my god,
that's so many.
Yeah, that's a lot.
We had more kids in a single class than you had in your graduating class.
Literally.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Tori?
I went to a really large high school. I think it's like still the largest all girls Catholic high school in the country.
Oh wow!
So it was like 1,400 girls, about 350-ish, 400 a class. So it was a lot of us. Graduation was really long.
Right. I bet.
Yeah, it was. Kind of, I had sort of the opposite situation as a lot of people. I think a lot of people when they go to college, it's like there's so many more people, which obviously ASU had a ton of people, but the School of Music and especially the music education portion is so small that it was like the opposite for me because I had this enormous high school, and then I went to, especially because the literal building for the School of Music is pretty small.
Yeah.
So I, there was my music ed classes. Sometimes there was like 10 of us or something. So that was kind of cool.
That is cool.
Let's
I love
see.
small class sizes.
I know. I like my daughter's school has small classes. Like it's like 15 kids in a class.
Yeah.
I think there's like 30 kids in the whole like 5th grade. So there's
Oh,
two classes, but I like how small it is. It's not as small as what I went to, but it's small.
Kind of. Do you live I don't know. I know you said somewhat central. Do you live anywhere near Miami?
No, I'm like 8 hours from Miami, like 7 or 8 hours.
Oh.
I'm in I don't care. I'm in Ocala, which is probably an hour and a half north of Orlando.
Oh, okay.
It's the horse capital of the world.
Oh,
nice.
Mm.
Not alfalfa though.
Not alfalfa, but the horse
Well, not that
people.
one, yeah.
The horse people know.
My
Ocala.
grandpa is not, changing anybody's minds as to where Cubans live because he lives in Miami.
My mom's from Miami. She is from Miami, so yes.
Yes, he's like very Cuban.
They have the best food down there, though. You go South Florida, best food.
Cuban food in Florida is so good.
Right?
I've never been. Someday. I'm just gonna feel like so out of place though, because I like all the Cubans in my family. I'm just like, you guys are all like funny and loud and just like a good time. And I don't know.
And you're so calm and like you're probably like, what's going on?
Well, compared to him, I feel like I'm very loud but like if the I remember as a kid, you know how usually the kids are loud and the adults are like, annoyed.
Yeah.
We would all go to my cousin's room and just sit and be like, geez, they're so loud because they'd be like drinking and playing this one dice game. I can't remember the name of the game, but it was really fun. They were so loud and we were just like, annoyed.
That's
awesome.
Let's see.
Quantum mechanics.
Oh my God.
So
Jesus.
ours had I think you
Okay.
could bring your cow in to get butchered at my high school.
Okay.
Yeah. Some meat cutters came out of my school.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, where I grew up has, like I said, a lot of farm stuff. So
I was
people
in the
would come in.
FFA.
What?
I ended up in the FFA one year, unwittingly.
Jessica.
I didn't want to. I had no choice. It was so weird.
Luna's here. She's breathing heavily.
Oh.
Should we start our next sprint?
Y'all.
I'm gonna hop off, everybody.
Okay.
Go find some dinner.
Okay. I think if we do one more,
I can do one more, yeah.
if we do one more, I would feel bad because I think Steph was going to try to hop on at 6:30, so she'd be getting on like right when we were getting off.
Oh no.
But we can maybe say hi if she does hop on.
Cool.
But anyway, let's get our next thing started. Tori, thanks for joining and chatting.
Yay.
Yeah,
Come say goodbye.
See you guys.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Enjoy your evening.
You
You
too.
too. All right. Let me get the screen back up.
My knee just popped and I sighed like an old man. I was like, oh.
Let's see. Luna's sighing also.
Every passing day, I feel just older and older. So.
Okay. Are we ready?
Ready.
Okay. Yay. See you in 25 minutes.
Right.
Hello.
Hello.
I was just about at the end of a chapter. Didn't quite get there.
Yeah, I'm close to the end of a chapter. I think like it says 4 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm at 23%. I'm almost to the part you were talking about.
Okay.
But anyway, how are you liking it?
I'm really liking it.
I think so far it's very kind of introductory.
Yeah.
But it feels like, because it's a pretty long book, it just feels like we're kind of building to something really epic. So that's exciting.
I agree. It's good so far. It's definitely like that kind of getting back into it. It's like, here's the new people, and then you're getting to see like the flashbacks.
To fill you in.
Yeah, to fill you in and be like, what happened between...
It's weirdly slower, I think, than the other ones.
It is.
So they moved, I thought, all pretty quick. Sean, how was your reading?
Oh, great.
While we were reading at one point, one of the lights, Sean was unaware, but he like kicked it and it just came flying down. He got it though in time. It's those volleyball quick reflexes.
Yep. It's all that practice.
Yeah. This was lots of fun though. I got a good amount of reading in.
It was, yes.
Are you done with part 2? Or are you still in it?
I'm still in part 2.
Okay, so part 2 must be kind of long.
Yeah, I think it's a little longer, but it's good so far. I'm liking seeing there's more of the original characters than I thought were going to be in it.
Yes. I was thinking they would just show up. They're kind of so far the main ones. Because even the synopsis made it seem like it was going to be about the other character who's, for me, been in one chapter so far.
Yeah, I've gotten 2. So far, I think I've gotten 2. I'm like, oh, wait, there is that new person. Like, I thought it was going to be like all the new person and then like at the end or like in little sprinkles. But...
Yeah, I can't imagine this being very compelling for new people because you have no reason to care about some of these characters.
None at all.
Because I don't feel as though she's kind of reintroducing them, or I shouldn't say that. I don't feel like she's introducing them. I feel like she's reminding previous readers of them. But if you're new to it, she's not exactly writing it in a way where you're getting to know them.
Yeah. That's not a good starting point. I don't think I can't recommend starting here. But I always love seeing like Goodreads reviews just anytime that it's even like a second series or even just a sequel. Like it's a book too. People are like, maybe I should have read the first book first. Like
I have seen people give one that they didn't read the first book in, like you're saying, a series at all. They just jumped into the second. I think I've even seen it for like the third book, but for sure the second in a trilogy or something. And they're like, I was just too confused. 1 star. And I'm like, that's your fault. That's not the books. That is probably my least favorite kind of review.
Same. Because I saw one, I think like the other day, and I'm like, I don't remember what book it was, but I'm like, if you read the first book, everything makes sense.
Yeah. It just like that doesn't make any sense.
No.
At all. In this case, I can kind of understand because it's a continuation. So this is considered the first of the new series, and the marketing does tell you it can be a starting place. And I'm like, I disagree. If that's how it's going to be marketed, I understand why people would go in and be like, no, I don't care about these people. I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
So I'd feel for them in that way.
The marketing is wrong.
Yes, I kind of think.
From somebody who works in marketing, the marketing is wrong.
Yeah. Well, Sean and I are probably going to hop off.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining. So for anybody that's still here, Roger wanted to join, but some people broke some stuff in his lab. It would seem we had to deal with that. I know Steph just kind of gets off, I think, later a lot of time. So, and then, yeah, I think. Am I missing someone? I'm trying to remember who's in our group. I think that's everybody, right?
I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, it was still lots of fun. The discussion for this book, the spoiler chat, will be up on the 13th, Friday the 13th. We thought it was very Schwab fitting. Over on Patreon will be when the live show happens, and then the replay will be available on my channel after. So I'm very excited for that. Have you? I haven't checked yet. Have you done the tag Roger made?
I haven't yet. I need
Okay.
to. I need to film.
Yeah. So that was one of the like 11 videos I
Right.
But Roger, if you don't know, did a whole tag that's centered around the spells in this series, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good tag. So check that out on his channel. Everybody's been doing like V Schwab stuff, all the co-hosts. So check their channels out for those things. But thanks everybody who joined. For anybody that joins later, we hope you had a good time reading and enjoying our random chatting as always. But it was a lot of fun. So thanks everybody. We'll see you later. Bye.